Hey y'all, so long time no chat. We're gonna give this another shot. Basically, I got a new job and it took up all of my time. And the only time I was home was when my kids were at home and they make a lot of noise. So I don't have a door on my office and I didn't really have anywhere else to film. They're currently in like a summer camp, so I have a few minutes to spare. So let's backtrack a little bit. Let's talk about my April reads. Like I said, I started a new job, so I literally only read 4 books in April. One of them was The Heart of the Fae by Emma Hamm. This is a first that I've read of her, so I actually had this on my Kindle for a really long time. So I read it on my Kindle, and it is about this healer who kind of still believes in the Fae, even though most of her like village doesn't. And the village is attacked by this like deadly disease, and so she traveled to kind of like, I think it's like a Fae realm type thing, to find the cure. But there's a super grumpy, broody Fae there that she has to bring back to her village in order to get the cure, but he refuses to go. So there's conflict there, but then of course they like fall in love. Great grumpy sunshine. I really enjoyed like the kind of world building and the like bits of magic. This is, I think, the first, and I'm not sure if there's 2 or 3 more books in the series, but I know she also kind of has some like spin-offs where they're still in the same world but different characters. Overall, I really enjoyed it and I would definitely continue. You know what? I take that back. I did not read this on my Kindle. I own it on my Kindle, but I actually listened to the audiobook. I bought the audiobook on sale and I loved it. I remember because I really enjoyed the narrator. They did a really good like Scottish accent almost, I believe, for her. I mean, I'm not the best at accents, but there was an accent and I enjoyed it. It sounded really nice. So I think I definitely would continue these on audiobooks now that I think about it. I want to say they're on Kindle Unlimited if you want to check it out. I know Emma Hamm also, I really hope that's how you pronounce her name. It's like H-A-M-M. That's Hamm, right? I hope so. I enjoy your writing. But I know she has like some new series and things out too. There's like a dragon one. I don't think that's in the same world though. I think it's a different world, but looks pretty. The next book I read was Unhinged. And again, I hope I pronounced this name right. Is it Only James? I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. But I loved your book. It was so good. Oh my gosh, Unhinged was amazing. So it's like Dexter vibes. It is an MM romance. The main character is like a sociopath, and he's been adopted by this man who adopts all these sociopaths in order to train them to go after bad guys. So think like Dexter, where he only kills bad guys. So he's trained all these like sociopaths to go after bad guys. This one has, he killed a man when he was very young, and the son of the man saw him do it and has like always remembered him. And so the son finally is like old enough and tries to go after him and kill him. And so they're face to face and he like can't do it. But then like Adam is the main character, the sociopath. He's kind of like, hey, you're kind of cute. I kind of like you, kind of brave. And so they kind of like hit it off, and it is just, I loved it so much. It is so good. It is pretty spicy. There's a good bit of spice, but oh, I just really enjoyed it. I really look forward to the rest of the series. Again, I listened to this one on audiobook. I really enjoyed the narrator. I hope it's the same for the rest. I will probably continue to read these on audiobook if I can. The next book I read was Whiteout by Andriana Anders. So I saw this on Instagram and I forget where I saw it, but it was slated as like survival romance, which I thought was pretty great. It's also just kind of like romantic suspense. Basically, research group in like Antarctica, and the chef isn't like a survival or outdoorsy person. They're just a chef, and they were looking to like kind of start over, take a break, from like back home. And so they took this job that's only for like a season. And then one of the like head research guys that is very like survival and rustic and grumpy, they end up getting stuck together and on the run from the bad guys. I really enjoyed it. Like, I thought it was pretty great. I will say the ending is kind of like smushed together. I don't know, like a lot happens in a short span and it's just kind of like, wait, what? But I don't know, overall I liked it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was really good. Survival romance, totally clicks. I think there's more in the series. I don't know if I'll continue it. Like, I'm not saying no, but it's not high on my TBR. But I did enjoy it. I would definitely read this author again. The last book was actually one I physically own, although I listened to it on audiobook. This is The Next Always. This is about a family who buys kind of like a rundown hotel in a small town, and they turn it into a B&B. The first book is about one of the brothers. There's 3 brothers. Yeah, this is just a trilogy. So the first book is about the brother, and he's kind of like the project planner. They all get like very hands-on with like building and things, but he's more of like the project planner and designer. And they're just kind of like doing a bunch of demo and like getting the foundation like set up for the building. And it's his story with the local bookseller, which is adorable. And she is a widowed mom, I think widowed, single mom. She has 2 kids. They're adorable. I really enjoyed it. It's a good Nora. I don't know if I'll continue the series. Reread, I've read them all. So I don't know if I'll continue this as a reread, but this like really hit my mood, like what I was wanting. So I enjoyed it. I also love these deckled edges. It smells good. Okay. So yeah, that was my April wrap up. Just those 4. I did not read a bunch. In May, I did read 7 books. So that was nice. And I read some pretty good ones. I kind of will say there was a lot of rereads. But one that I read, Dukes Do It Better by Bethany Bennett. Loved it. Loved it so much. Okay, so Bethany Bennett has become one of my like auto-buy authors or like auto-read authors. I will read it. I was gifted this copy from Forever Publishing. Forever Publishing. I was gifted this copy, but oh my gosh, I love this series. This is such a good series. I really enjoy this one. And it has like a bit of a pirate feel, and they have a pet goat. It was just, so she's a single mom, and she's kind of been writing in this journal, and it's kind of like about her imaginary love. So her son, she made some mistakes and accidentally got pregnant, but a friend stepped up and married her, and then he died. It's complicated. So anyway, so she's now a single mom, but in her personal journal, she kind of writes about like her dream husband, lover, whatever. And so one day she accidentally loses her journal. It is found on this like beachy cove by this pirate. And he ends up like keeping it and reading it, not knowing who she was or like the writer. And, you know, kind of falling in love with the writer, if you will. And then of course they meet, but they don't know who's who. And she doesn't know he read her journal and then has it. And it's really good. I love it. It was so fun. Highly recommend Bethany Bennett. If you haven't read her books, I think this is the 3rd in the series. I think this is the 3rd. Love it. Highly recommend. Next, I read Dark Witch by Nora Roberts. There was an Audible sale, and I bought I think it's 3 in the trilogy. I bought those on Audible because I want to listen to them. They were cheap. I couldn't help myself. So I did listen to Dark Witch, and I really did enjoy it. Again, it's a really good Nora Roberts. I don't always love her like magical ones, but this one is pretty good. I enjoyed it. I plan to continue the series on audiobook. I enjoy the like kind of like found family feeling of it, where you know, this woman is coming from America to Ireland, and she knows she does have like distant family there, and so she's going to meet them. And she meets them, and it's like an instant connection. Yes, they're family, but then like also they're like friends and family on the island, easily like accept her. And I love the family vibes like that they have. And then of course there's the romance, and that's great too. I enjoyed it. I did read another Nora Roberts book that I did not enjoy. So this is 2 books of the Stanislavski stories. So Falling for Rachel is actually book 3 in the series. I enjoyed book 1 and 2. I have those somewhere. I didn't like Falling for Rachel. I didn't like it at all. So, slight spoiler, I guess. I don't know, this really creeped me out. Is the whole like, she is interacting with this older brother and little brother, these siblings. And so she's obviously like super attracted to the older brother who's her age. And the younger brother is slightly younger than her, but like the younger brother gets it in his head that she likes him, and he's like coming on to her, and she doesn't like immediately like shut it down. Like she's worried about his feelings and stuff. And like, I get it, but it like drags out too long. It's just like, it was a weird plot. It wasn't even like the main plot. Like it was just kind of like a weird bump in the road. I don't know, because it's easily resolved, and then when it's resolved, it's fine. And like, I get that it's kind of there to add drama and conflict between the different relationships, but I didn't like it. It like really rubbed me wrong. And like, I just didn't love the characters. Like, they're okay. I guess I kind of look forward to the next one, Convincing Alex. I stopped on Falling for Rachel, and I just kind of put it down for a little bit because I needed a break. Again, I read this in May, and I still haven't picked it up. So I'll get to it. And that, like, you know, Falling for Rachel was only 230 pages. It's not long. Convincing Alex is probably about that long. I just, I don't know. I'm not super excited about it. So there's that. Another Nora Roberts that I adore. This is my year of rereading. And so I really wanted to like reread books. So if a book crossed my mind, I was like, oh, I like that book. I was like, oh, well, let's reread it. Like, nothing's stopping me. So Born in Ice is actually book 2 in the Born in trilogy. Born in Fire is first, and then Born in Shame is third. I adore this series. This is one that I have in multiple copies, in multiple formats. I just love it. This one is about the middle sister who, she's very much a homemaker, and so she's running this B&B, and she has this guest who is a mystery author. And it's so fun because like, you see him writing his book and his like temperaments, but she kind of understands because her sister is an artist and also has these temperaments. But he's like flustered because she's not falling all over him, and like, it's really fun. And then there is like the other like kind of plot in the story of them learning that they have another sister out there, a half sister, and trying to find her, and then the complications, the complicated relationship they have with their mother. Like, there's so much like family plots in Nora's stories, but then there's also really good romance. I really enjoyed the romance between them. It was a lovely reread. It made me so happy. Highly recommend this series. Love it. Let's see. The next book I reread, was Silence Fallen by Patricia Briggs. I have no idea what number this is. Ooh, so I don't always tab my books, but obviously I've tabbed this book. Let's see. Let's find what I have tabbed. It's also funny too, because like I tab stuff that like out of context like does not know. Oh, I love this one. So this is Mercy, and she's talking to a vampire about the ghosts surrounding them. And she says, "I only get weirder the longer you know me," I told him, quoting one of the t-shirts I'd gotten for my last birthday. That's such Mercy. I love this series. This is amazing. So again, there is a new book coming out this year, I think in August, and I've kind of been rereading the series like I do every year. There's a new book. just, you know, immersing myself in the world. I'm a little bit behind on my reread, but I devour these in like 2 days tops, so I'm not worried about it. The last book I read in May was The Solace of Sharp Claws by Lena. I'm gonna say Lena P because I cannot pronounce her last name. I'm so sorry. This was the second book in the Fae Guardian series. I know this is on Kindle Unlimited. I also bought this one on sale at Audible. I really enjoy this. This has, like, these are big books. These are like 500-page books. But the world is so like intricate and filled out nicely. And then you have all the different kind of magics. This one is, there has been a woman who has been kind of like frozen and sent back in time. And they find her and her power is like fire. And so she's like, she wakes up and she has to kind of immediately be okay with like, hey, all your family's dead and it's so many years in the future and you now have this power. And also like metal and plastic are not used, so everything is almost a little bit more primitive than you're used to. With all of this change, she also wakes up and like the first person she sees turns out to be her fated mate, and they're like married, based on this spiritual deity. I don't know what, so it's called the Well, and so it's like your life mana and like where you get your powers from, but it has given them the magical runes that says, hey, you're fated mates. One thing I do love about this one is like, she kind of like, obviously it's a lot to accept and like it's just all kind of coming at her, but she has a lot of like logical thoughts, which I thought was great. She's like, okay, well, there's like magical thing that everyone highly respects as we're fated mates, so that has to mean something, right? Like, I didn't want to get married. I don't want this, but that's important, right? So like, we should probably work this out. It was so logical and I just really enjoyed it. She obviously has some hysterics and things, but so they are actually on a mission to find his mentor who has been missing for a few years. And like, there was a vision saying that she's the one that's going to lead him to him. And so they like go through these different trials to find him and like fall in love and work it out. It's adorable. Like I said, just like the world is so big. Like, yes, there is a romance, but there is so much more going on. You do have to read these in order because there's like major plot throughout the series. I do plan to read the next one, but again, these are like 500-page books. It's like a hunker. So like, it kind of takes a lot to get through. Enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. I think it's on Kindle Unlimited, but like I said, I bought it on Audible when it's on sale because I love audiobooks. That's my thing. But yeah, so that's what I read in April and May. It is currently June and I have currently read a ton. So I will save that for another video, but let me know what you think. Have you read any of these? What are some books that you have reread recently? So like I said, this is like my year to reread, and I think as of May, 18 of the 49 books I've read have been rereads. So that's like 36%. I kind of want to try to bump it up, so I'm going to maybe try to like, you know, reread more books, because one of the things that I do for like my shelves, they're either books that I super duper love that are like collections and multiple copies, or they're books that I know I'll reread. Otherwise, I don't keep them. I'll just borrow them from the library. I tend to borrow books from the library, and then if it's something I super love and know I'll reread, I'll buy it. And even then I buy it used. I love used books. So that's like, I want to reread more of my books. And I think I've done a pretty good job, but I kind of want to bump it up even more. It makes me happy. So read what makes you happy. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye, y'all.